Why your workouts are killing your gains.
You gotta tell them all the gains I made since the last summer.
Oh my gosh, I made tremendous gains.
I hunted down the best muscle building expert that I could get my hands on. I DM'd Charles Glass, the godfather of bodybuilding, like 100 times.
Who is the godfather of bodybuilding?
Finally started training with Charles Glass, and he quickly taught me these 7 things. The first way to optimize your workout is exercise selection.
How important do you think is exercise selection?
Every set that I do is a working set for me, no matter what. But I select what is my weakest part of my chest.
Yeah.
And I look at it, okay, I need this. So that's gonna be my emphasis gonna be on that.
If you just did bench press and say weighted dips, you're not gonna have an upper chest, right?
No, weighted dip is gonna work lower,
Right.
but it's also gonna move up to right about here.
Right.
It's not gonna hit here, so that's where you get inclined.
Right.
I started training with Charles. We started to incorporate new exercises, and I was more sore than ever before. If you continue to do the same exercises, your body's gonna grow very stubborn. So be very mindful of what exercises that you choose to develop your physique. The second way to optimize every workout is perfect form.
Little form tweaks, guys, are so valuable in your training. I told Charles, do not take it easy on me.
Don't try to lift, you're gonna pull your trap. Just push it when it stops, it stops, like that. Don't let it turn so much. Don't try to lift it so high because you're gonna turn your hand. Just leave it, and when it stops, it stops. That's it, come on.
That was a good weight. I think any heavier,
Yeah.
I'd be sacrificing form.
Anything heavier, your form is gone.
Yeah,
That's so true. See this?
Right.
You want to do this.
So am I leaning too far forward?
Well, you're turning the weights away from you like this.
Okay.
See my hands up, my thumb's up in the air?
Right.
You want to keep the thumb down.
I view form as every single rep, you're trying to figure out a way to make it as hard as possible on the targeted muscle. So if you're hitting biceps, you're hitting chest, you're not just chucking up the weight to stroke your ego that you can lift a lot of weight on a certain lift. You're actually trying to make it as hard as possible on the targeted muscle, meaning you're slowing down your form. You're tweaking your elbow, you're tweaking your wrist to feel it more in that targeted muscle group. When I started training with Charles, I couldn't believe how much of a difference a small little form tweak made to make it so much harder on that muscle group.
It's crazy to me because like I could go through the motions on this with bad form and I wouldn't feel it at all. So to me, it's like so many people can do an exercise without the proper form, you don't really feel the benefit.
Well, you don't get anything from it.
Right.
You're just throwing weight around.
Think about it, if you're building like 0.1 more pounds of muscle mass every single workout because you're creating more muscle damage with perfect form, you're chasing the pain on all of your repetitions, the compound effect of this, guess what? It adds up to you building an extra 10, 15 pounds over the course of a year or two. All right, so now we are doing the perfect exercises with the perfect form, but how many reps should we do?
If we did like 5 versus 10 what we did, is there gonna be a big difference in results? Yeah.
I like doing the 10 because we're working more fibers. We're breaking down more fibers. Whereas we did 5, what have we really done? Nothing.
Right.
So I always like to say, if you want to get stronger, you want to focus on lower rep ranges, less than 5. So when I was trying to build a stronger bench press, a lot of my workouts would be like 5 sets of 3 or 6 sets of 4. When it comes to building muscle mass, you definitely want to keep your rep range right around 10 to 12. How hard should you train? What's the intensity? What's the reps in reserve?
How intense and like how many reps in reserve do you think people should go? Because I see people, do you go till failure? Do you not go till failure?
You got a spotter? Yes.
But every set, or what do you
Not
think?
every single set, no. Maybe
But-
1 or 2 sets you go to failure. But those are when you have the lighter weight.
Yeah.
That way you don't get hurt.
Most sets should be hard, right? Like at the end of the set, it should be like when we were in there just now, that was hard. I could have done maybe a few more, like 1 or 2 more, but it was really challenging.
I go by how you exercise yourself.
Like the form. If the form breaks down, you stop.
Start to break down, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
102.7% of people walking in the gym could benefit from training a hell of a lot harder. Nobody ever became superhuman from not training hard. So look, don't overthink this one, guys. You don't need to take every single set to complete failure. But if you can do another 5+ reps, you are definitely not training hard enough. And this is one of these things where you just intuitively know when you crushed a workout, when you push yourself as hard as you could go. So I have nothing else to say on this. Just go hard every single workout. You got it dialed in, but what about rest times? Now, Charles's answer actually surprised me a little bit.
How important is rest times? Like I don't really track it when I train with you, but people at home, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, what do you think?
I'm not going over 60 seconds.
Too short?
It's just 60 seconds what I gotta get, and that's it. I'll stop it. I won't go too much lower than that.
Yeah.
I won't go higher.
So 60 seconds is a sweet spot for these kind of
That's
workouts?
me, yeah. Mhm.
But if you're going heavy, you do more rest time,
yeah,
right?
a little bit more rest.
Like 2-3 minutes?
Nah, I never take that long.
No?
Then I'm weak.
Yeah.
I'm weak.
My general rule of thumb is 90 seconds to 120 seconds at the absolute max. If you're resting 4 to 5 minutes between sets, you're either a power lifter or you are not training hard enough.
Rest time on shoulders, like 60-90 seconds, just enough to recover.
I say this, if you start going heavy, I wait till you recover, then we go. Not completely recovered, but up to a point. So if 90 seconds, then you're ready to go, we go. If you need a little bit more, I may give you like 20 more, but that's it.
Let's talk about just how many times do we pick things up and put them down per muscle group per week.
What do you think is a good amount of volume on shoulders? Because I posted a 25-set shoulder workout, and I was getting a lot of hate that people are like, oh, you gotta be on steroids to do that many sets, not much volume.
Whatever suits your fancy, you do. I think you're doing good.
Yeah.
You do what feels best for you.
Anytime I've made significant gains, at the bare minimum, I was doing at least 10 hard working sets for each muscle group each and every single week. But most of the time, it was honestly closer to 15 to 20 total sets for each muscle group, especially those leggy muscle groups. So if you have a muscle group that's growing really fast, you feel like it's ahead of all the others, you could probably get by with 10 sets. But if you have a lagging, stubborn muscle group, just simply increase the volume. Get it all the way up to 15 to 20 sets per week.
How many, like, in terms of volume and total sets per workout, what do you think is optimal?
It depends on the individual.
For me, I guess.
I mean, even with you, it depends on how you feel when you come in. You go that way. But like for chest, I would do 6 different exercises, 5 sets each. Yeah.
30 sets?
I didn't know no better. I thought that's what I needed.
We're at, what was that, our 11th or 12th set we just did? I'm fried. Like,
Yeah. Well, you know, it's our last one coming up, so we did pretty good.
oh, I thought that was the last one.
No, we got one still.
All right, so the last thing to consider is your frequency, which means how many times you are training every single muscle group each week.
How many times per week, if you're trying to optimize your upper chest, is this a routine you do, say, twice a week?
Nah, maybe once a week.
That's it.
Yeah, once a week. Because then I want to get my power stuff in too.
Yeah.
So that's when we're going heavy. And with heavy, you can't do it.
Right.
You have really good form right now. Do it the other way, we got to kick other muscles in, they'll push.
So you'd have one day where you maybe just go lower rep range, heavy incline, heavy decline.
Well, 10 reps.
Yeah.
That's low for me.
Okay.
Let's get 10 and stop.
But
we
if you only care about aesthetics and you're trying to bring up a weak point like an upper chest, could you do this routine twice a week?
You could.
You could.
For me, what worked the best during my big transformation where I packed on those 15 pounds was basically like a hybrid of a push-pull leg split. So I would end up training every single muscle group twice per week, and I typically have about 72 hours between those workouts. To me, that was the perfect storm of being able to train every single muscle group twice per week with 10 to 20 working sets and enough time to recover. Lastly, I believe the key to becoming superhuman is not just incorporating bodybuilding, but it's doing athletic bodybuilding. So I just made an amazing video showing you how you can combine bodybuilding workouts with athlete workouts to truly become superhuman.